Now, for reaction, let's get to American Center for Law and Justice attorney Jordan Sekulow. All right, Jordan, let's back up. Let's be clear, because the media is going full tilt with the top spin, and there's a lot of misreporting happening right now. Okay, let's set the scene. In January, the FBI found no evidence of wrongdoing in what Flynn was saying on the phone calls with the Russian ambassador. 3 weeks later, the president tells James Comey that he let Flynn go because he misled Vice President Pence about his phone calls, right? Comey says that's what he understood Trump meant when he said, quote, I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. I hope you can let it go. But the media's ratcheting up that the president's trying to obstruct the probe into Russia meddling, right?
First of all, Comey actually says in the memo, in his understanding, Liz, that the president was not talking about a Russia investigation, but specifically about Flynn's phone calls himself, just Michael Flynn. At that time, what we knew about Michael Flynn, and what we knew is what you just said, is that he had basically been cleared on those phone calls and fired because he did not represent them correctly, his communications correctly to the Vice President, Mike Pence, who went on TV, and it just wasn't right. So the president stood with his vice president, and Mike Flynn ultimately resigned. First of all, it's not obstruction. No, Jim Comey, it's so classic. This is him. I mean, there's nothing here, yet he says, oh, it was very concerning, so I told my close staff, but no one else. I didn't tell anybody at the Department of Justice. I didn't report this up the chain.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know why, Liz? He knew that's not obstruction of justice. He goes through and tries to explain why he didn't report this, because it's not worth reporting at all. I mean, just because he didn't like meeting with the president.
You're right. If it was obstruction, he should have gone right to other people at the DOJ and up the chain of command. I mean, but Comey also said this, Jordan. I want your thoughts. I had understood the president to be requesting, requesting, not ordering that we drop any investigation to Flynn. So there's no, what's the obstruction if he's saying requesting,
there's not.
Right?
And honestly, there's a very strong case that can be made that the executive leader, which is the President of the United States, can direct, obviously, the Department of Justice, which the FBI reports to, ultimately has a say in this. And so he wasn't even taking that step. He wasn't saying, shut it down. He was saying, can't you just let this one go, and not forcing Comey to do that. Comey didn't respond. The relationship went on for months. So I do believe, and listen, the Michael Flynn facts changed. But what we know at that time was that this was about Michael Flynn's, and the president's own words that Comey reports, if we're to believe him, were just about these phone calls with Russia that the FBI had already cleared him on. So, again, a big nothing burger, but you're right, Liz, they're going to, what the Senate Democrats will try to do is get Comey to go further than he obviously went in this memo and say, well, in your opinion, isn't this something like obstruction of justice? And this is where Jim Comey gets in trouble, because he's already testified under oath that he wasn't under any influence when it comes to these investigations.
Right, and May 3rd he did that, right. And, you know, Robert Mueller is watching this. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he has made these prosecutorial decisions before. He did it with Hillary Clinton. He was not just the investigator there. He decided there would be no case.
And that was the problem, judge and jury.
I think the Democrats will press him on that, too.
Yeah, we got to move on.
I think he's got a lot to worry about.